Get ready to master your life and achieve your dreams with Lifestyle Mastery, the show that will transform the way you think about personal development, business, and entrepreneurship, and explores the fascinating world of self-improvement with the guidance of the renowned expert, Dr. Sheila Smith. From mastering your mindset to building a successful business, Dr. Smith and her guests will inspire, educate, and empower you to live your best life.
Welcome to Lifestyle Mastery. I am your host, Dr. Sheila Smith. And today, I already got his name scrolling across the board. I'm so that excited. Today, we have an international speaker all the way from Ireland, Doug Gordon. And let me just read a little bit about who Doug Gordon is. Doug Gordon is a 5-time award-winning CEO and coach, an international best-selling author, consultant, corporate trainer, international pro speaker, TEDx speaker, radio presenter, healer, and he has a new book out now on Amazon. It is called Charge Yourself Up for Success. When I first heard Doug Gordon, I was in a clubhouse room, and now a clubhouse room is an app. It's an audio app. And I heard this man speak, and I was literally mesmerized. Why was I mesmerized? Because it was not only eloquent, it was thoughtful, mind-provoking, and my goodness, life-changing. And I'm so honored and so super excited to bring up to Lifestyle Mastery our own Doug Gordon. Welcome up, my friend. Welcome up. I am so honored to have you here today. I can't even stop smiling. I'm so excited. So, Doug Gordon, please introduce yourself to the millions of people that will see this broadcast.
Wow. Well, Sheila, I don't think I could introduce myself anything better than you just did. So, well, just in way of background, I spent 21 years in the investment world, basically selling hedge funds, mutual funds, and investment funds to B2B, to some of the biggest banks and financial institutes in the world. And my last job, I was head of sales and marketing of one of the biggest fund managers in Ireland and Europe. And then, but going back a bit, if we went back to 2008, obviously we all remember a bit of a tough time in September 2008. The markets fell through the floor. And at that point, I ended up getting quite stressed, as a lot of people did. And that stress led to ailment after ailment, doctor after doctor, specialist after specialist, 2 operations that went wrong, and then 3 years of chronic pain, like I was being punched in the stomach consistently. And then after that, unfortunately, I had a marriage breakdown at the same time during that. And then in 2012, when I thought nothing could get any worse, I ended up having a near-death experience where I actually died. I was encapsulating this amazing feeling of love, energy, and connection. And that really changed me, because actually that year I had one of my best years in the business. I'd grown an asset management business from 50 million per annum sales to 1.75 billion. And that was the year I did the 1.75 billion. Wow. But because of the marriage breakdown, because of the ailments, and because of everything that was happening, the lack of sleep, the stress just got too much. And then I got the norovirus, which is like a stomach bomb. And after 10 days of serious dehydration, electrolytes down to 0, I was rushed to hospital with heart problems. And sure enough, then had the near-death experience. Came back though, thankfully, otherwise I wouldn't be speaking to you here today, and changed my life. Initially became a healer to heal myself. Then the healing turned into life coaching, then speaking on stage, working in businesses, top businesses like Dell, Facebook, Salesforce, stuff like that, as an executive coach and trainer. And then gradually decided to write a book, and wrote my book. It's got testimonies from Lisa Nichols and Dr. John Demartini from The Secret film, Stephen Covey, who is a New York Times bestseller as well, and various other like amazing people such as TV celebrities and world record holders and everything like that. They're all testimony. They've actually read the book, which is quite cool, and they actually liked it, so they testimonied. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. And obviously I met your beautiful self on Clubhouse. And I had the privilege and honor of you joining me in one of my courses, and we got to know each other. And you're a divine individual, a divine feminine with such a lovely heart and soul. So it's just lovely to connect.
I am so grateful that you had all of those experiences, because it really does change your life, because it definitely changed my life, going through a lot of the health issues that I've dealt with. So when you say you're a healer, please, can you break that down for people? Because a lot of people, when they hear that, they're like, they're not quite sure of what that term fully means.
Yeah, so I'm a master teacher healer of 5 modalities of healing. So that's Reiki, which is the basic, which most people have done in the healing world. Then Sakin, which is kind of the next level up. Magnified healing, which is another level up. And then bioenergy healing and quantum healing as well. So what I do is I mix all of them together. And it was interesting, actually, Sheila, because before the pandemic, I always used to think I have to put my hands on people and, it was magically all me and my hands. But actually, that was just ego. What I realized during the pandemic, when I started doing distance healing, that actually energy can be moved from any form to any place at any time. And it's remarkable how we can think about someone energetically, and then we might hear from them or see them or interconnect with them in some way or form in the next day or week, or whatever it is. And if you think about it, everything in life is energy. So I'm speaking to you and my voice is going into the computer, up to the satellite, down into you over in the States, a good few thousand miles away. And we're speaking as if it's almost instantaneous. So there's energy all around us. So in terms of energy healing, what does that mean? Well, it means that your body is made up of cells. Those cells are interconnected through energy, not glue. And that means that, if there is a ailment or a bang, let's say there's an injury, like a bang on the knee or something like that, there's a vibration within that knee that is then put out of sync, and it sends a message up to the brain saying there's pain, and then back down, so it's there. So what I do is basically hone into the energy around us. As I was saying, there's energy all around us, bring it into my heart with love, send with intention then down to the area that needs to be resynced frequency-wise or vibration-wise back into the right frequency. And it can sometimes happen instantaneous, or it might take a little bit of time depending on the person and depending on the energy interaction as well, if that makes sense.
Yes, it makes sense. So can you encourage, because I know there's a lot of people out here right now that are coming out of, probably being empty nesters. Let's say, like, I was a grandmother early in life, and we're trying to get our minds back to what we want to do now as far as moving forward, learning how to reinvent ourselves. Can you talk about how we can do that with our mind?
Yeah, of course. And I go into much more depth in this.
Yes,
my book.
Please do.
Charge Yourself Up for Success, my book, which is on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Waterstones. It's a proper published book, so it's all over the place. So anyway, the process that I talk about in the book is, firstly, number one, you need to find your true sense of purpose. So many people, when they come out of their schooling or their university, they follow what their parents or their preachers or teachers or family or peers did, and they do that normally for money reasons. And it's very common. I'd say 90% of people in the world do that, but that's coming from your head self rather than your heart self. So if we can truly align with our heart self in order to find what our true purpose is in life, that can really help us get in the right alignment. And when you're doing something that really lights you up, that's really aligned to your heart, you're going to spring out of bed with loads of energy every single day. And how do we do that? Well, there's a few ways. Number one is to have a look at 5 things you absolutely love doing, 5 things that you're good at doing, and 5 things that you can add value to people in some way or form, and find a match between those. And then it's a good alignment. Or another way of looking at the same thing is, I'm speaking in September, for example, in Los Angeles, and there's going to be 10,000 people there. So if you were 85 years of age and I was to put you on that stage and beam it out to 8 billion people around the planet, what would you speak about most? What would light you up the most? What could you add the most value? What legacy speech would you like to leave? And once you know what that is, then reverse engineer yourself back to where you are today and ask yourself, what do I need to learn? What do I need to do? Who do I need to collaborate with? Who do I need to work with in order to be worthy and knowledgeable enough to stand on that stage, deliver that speech, and leave that legacy? So that's the first way you can do it. The second thing is, you and I obviously have had a lot of messes in our life, as in ailments, near-death experiences, all that kind of stuff. And we all go through something, whether it be a relationship breakdown or whatever it might be. So you can turn your messes into messages to give them meaning, help other people in some way or form. So have a look at what happens to you. Actually, don't think it happens to you. It actually happens for you. Because like you and I have discussed before, if we look back at what happened in the past, it's probably one of the greatest gifts that happened to us, because it's helped us to go through those experiences, learn from those experiences, evolve from those experiences, and then maybe teach other people in some way or form. So that's why I became a mental wellness professional, a healer, a mindset coach, all of those to wrap them around the experiences I have had to be able to help other people in some way or form. As I said, turn your mess into a message and give it meaning, or turn your tragedy into a triumph to help others. That's the second thing. The other thing is to have a look at the energetics. If you can't move out about what you're doing, have a look at the energetics of what you're doing now in terms of a job, and ask yourself, what I'm doing, how does it affect and add value to somebody's life in some way or form? Granny or grandpa, mother, father, brother, sister, son and daughter in some way or form. And when you know that what you do, even if it's not directly, so if you're working for, I don't know, a life insurance company, let's just put it that way, or investment company, where I used to work, right? When I was doing the investment stuff, sometimes I thought it was transactional. I was just taking money from one bank to another, blah, blah. But actually what I should have thought of is actually we're helping that granny or grandpa retire younger, give more to their children, their grandchildren, buy a better retirement home, or have a better life, basically. And when you know that your company and what even the little bits of what you do interacts to adding value to that end granny or grandpa, then it gives you a bit of a spring in your step, because you've got a sense of meaning of adding value to somebody's life. And that's very important. So that's the first thing, is to find that sense of purpose. Now, once you have that purpose, at least you have a direction. It's a bit like a mission statement in a company. You know the direction, then you've got to align goals towards that, smaller goals. What do I need to do? I was telling you earlier on, if you have that, end goal, reverse engineer back and put in little goals that lead you towards that. And sometimes though, what gets in the way is we have triggers, traumas and parental programs that we play. And they procrastination. I don't know what yours actually, but mine in the past were fear of not having enough money, fear of not being good enough, imposter syndrome. That was one of the biggest ones for me. Imposter syndrome. I came out of the corporate world, and suddenly, I was in the national newspapers for success in terms of the financial world, and then suddenly I'm finding myself as this coach healer guy, and I'm thinking, well, am I actually good enough? I'm coaching some CEOs, and I've coached, Star Trek and Star Wars actresses, and I'm thinking, am I actually good enough? And it probably took 5 years really to suddenly look at myself and go, okay, I've got 5 awards now, and I've got 73 LinkedIn recommendations. Maybe something in here is working. So imposter syndrome is something that a lot of people have, and it's getting that self-confidence to understand that you are good enough, you are meant to be there. And whatever those triggers and traumas are, and sometimes it's not actively listening enough to a peer or a loved one or something like that. And if you can have the awareness of what those are, then you can implement change. So what I do is I get people to write down all your self-aware flaws, then write down all your mirrored flaws. So having a look at, say, the people that come into your life, choose 5, choose a mum or a dad, because you tend to copy them and model them in the first 7 years of your life, most of your life, actually. It's amazing how many people say that the word partner and the word parent have the same letters, except there's an extra on partner, because we replay the parent relationship over and over again, because we've been modeled and programmed in that way. So have a look at 5 people that are in your life, and have a look at the things that you don't like about them, or you can see that they sabotage themselves with as well. And once you know what they are, see if there's a commonality even between 2 of those people, and you'll probably find it's in you in some way or form as well. So add that to the master list of your self-aware flaws. And then finally, choose someone that you can totally trust and is going to be very trusting with you, and ask them to tell you what they see in you as well. So you got self-aware flaws, mirrored flaws, and phone a friend flaws. And then write down whatever they tell you, even if you don't think it's in you, on that list as well. So that way you've got a comprehensive list of awareness. And once you have that awareness, speaking with a coach like you or I, and actually speak them out loud. So you might say, at times, I don't actively listen enough. At times, I don't feel worthy of success, or whatever it might be. And say that out loud with that piece of paper in front of the person, so you have kind of accountability, and then rip the piece of paper up, burn it, blow it up, whatever you need to do, and rewrite the list in I am positive opposite. So I am worthy of love. I'm worthy of success. I am worthy of whatever it is. And then once you've done that, read these out as often as you possibly can, but at least 3 times a day, every day, for a minimum of 21 days. preferably 60 days, to implement and seed the subconscious brain, create neuroplasticity in terms of how you think, act, and speak. And by doing that on a regular basis in terms of affirmations can be very powerful. And then you've got your purpose, you've cleared out the crap, align those goals to where you want to go, and literally write your goals down every single day so they're in here as much as possible, and then go out there and take massive action to create them as well.
Speechless, 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 speechless. The imposter syndrome was the biggest thing I had to get over. So when you said that, and I know so many women that deal with that, especially after raising children, now they are in the workplace, they're at the end of their lives, about not end of their lives, but retirement time. And they're saying to themselves, now this chapter, I'm in this new chapter, and I feel like I don't belong. I don't feel like I'm good enough. I don't feel like all the things that you said. And so when you touched on that, is there a way that you can dig even deeper into that imposter syndrome to help a little further with that? How did you get out of it?
So one of the things that really happens in terms of imposter syndrome, it comes from being in your head rather than your heart. It comes from a sense of fear, a sense of ego. And if you can get yourself out of your head self into your heart self, you can only come from a place of love. So you can't have ego. So the best way to do it every single day, and I do this actually when I'm about to go on stage quite often, but also if I've got a meeting with someone like yourself where I'll put my hand on my heart and I'll say, I am Doug Gordon, I am my heart. Please let me connect with the hearts of the audience, of the people I'm going to meet, in order to bless rather than press and add as much value. And say it out loud, because what you're doing is you're talking back into your subconscious mind, you're setting that intention, and it's amazing how it really works. And by doing that, you just literally every single day come into a much more confident state. But also, I think when we take action, when we get out there, and when we're in that zone, in that energy, it's amazing how that just seems to come. Quite often when I was in the corporate world and I was doing investment sales, I would wake up some days and I'd go in and I wouldn't feel it. I wouldn't feel like doing it. So I'd pick the phone up and I'd ring maybe 5 or 6 of my top clients that were already clients, just checking, are they in, giving them a few updates on what's happening in the markets, the economy, everything like that. But what that did is get me into the zone, get me into the energy. And I think it's so important that when you put yourself in the energy, you bring it towards you. I was speaking on stage actually with one of Ireland's top footballers ever. He was a guy called Eamonn Quinn, and he was in the international team. He many caps. He was the second ever highest scorer, amazing player, and beautiful soul. He actually, on his testimonial match when he was retiring, they do a testimony when they do a match with the 2 main clubs that you normally pay for. Everybody comes, everybody pays, and then after that, basically all the gates go to the player. And it was 1.5 million sterling, and he gave it all to charity. So this guy's an amazing guy, amazing guy. Anyway, so I was in this energy about a week before, about thinking about this guy. I was in Poland with my now partner, and we were over there, and we went into a restaurant in the middle of nowhere, and this guy walked in, and he was a massive fan of the football club that Eamonn Quinn used to play for, and was the chairman of as well. So it just shows you, I mean, what is the likelihood of that? And, and why I'm saying that is put yourself in the energy of what you want. Put yourself in the energy of the people you want to hang around with. And it's amazing how it happens. And I will say this, that if you are, it's not always easy, but if you're in a state of being slightly unwell or, anything like that, get yourself out there to try and put yourself in the energy of the person you want. Even if it's just taking 1 step a day, 2 steps, 3 steps, whatever, build it up, those small goals. There was a guy on my radio show and he had a brain tumor, and he was telling me that he made little steps. He was a marathon runner beforehand, and he had a brain tumor and he wasn't able to walk afterwards. But he put little steps each day, and gradually he was able to get better and better and better. And eventually he ran a marathon again. So whatever it is, put yourself in the energy of it, and slowly you'll bring it towards you as well.
Outstanding. You were a TEDx, or I should say are a TEDx speaker. Why did you aspire to get on that level of stage, and how did you do it?
Well, so it's funny. Everybody puts TEDx's on a kind of like a platform, and yeah, they're great, but there's many amazing speakers out there who get paid 5 figures, 6 figures to speak, and they've never done a TEDx. Wow. So it's not the be all and end all, but I will say it is a great platform to be able to showcase yourself in terms of your speaking skills. So I had a lady on my radio show actually, and she became a TEDx organizer. And I was the first person she contacted because she wanted to advertise it. I'm a radio presenter in Ireland, and it was an opportunity for her to be able to leverage off my platform to be able to get the TEDx out there and everything like that. So I spoke at her place, and the TED Talk went really well. Really enjoyed it, and I have to say, obviously, I've been paid to speak quite a lot in the past and in the future as well, and it's amazing how the TEDx you don't get paid for, but it's amazing how much effort I did put in for that TEDx, because at the time I'd been doing a lot of work for mental health and mental wellness. So I was going to do a TEDx on business and use it to help in terms of selling for my business and my coaching and everything like that. But I instead decided to give to others and do a TEDx all around giving to others and helping people in terms of mental health and changing your mindset to get into the best possible state in that way or form. So I think a TEDx is a great thing, a great platform and everything like that. I didn't get on the main platform, and the reason being is because I talked about my near-death experience and my viewpoint on energy, which I kind of mentioned earlier on as well. But they didn't put me on the main platform. And I thought it was strange because it's supposed to be ideas worth sharing. Now, that obviously my ideas were slightly spiritual and energetic in terms of energy and everything like that. But we all have our own ideas. We all have our own experiences, and we all have something to share. And I was sharing my true experience that came from my authentic self. So
I love that. What made you decide to write this book, your new book?
Well, I thought to myself, you know what? I've had this experience and I've learned so much from it. And also then with the radio show, I've interviewed probably about 300 people on my radio show, and they include people, New York Times bestsellers, CEOs of some of the biggest companies in the world, people who've cured themselves naturally of cancer and MS, and many others as well. And loads of sports stars as well, like international, best-in-class sports stars. And at that point, I thought to myself, you know what? I have to share the experiences of what I've learned from them, what I've learned from myself, so that people can understand maybe from my perspective and my angle, how I can help other people in some way or form. And there's a lot of people out there, again, who have imposter syndrome and think, oh, why would anyone want to read my book? Well, we all have different perspectives. We all have different angles. And that's why diversity and inclusion is so amazing, because if we all look at things in different ways and different angles, it gives different perspectives. Because I can stand on stage, which I have done, in front of 4,500 people, and there can be 4,500 different perspectives of what I'm saying, because everybody is brought up in different ways, has different experiences, and see things in different ways. So bring your experiences, bring your perspectives to life and share it out there, because you just never know. You might save someone's life just with some kind of message that you have in your book. So that was the main thing. I mean, other things, I actually enjoy writing. I'm in my country home at the moment, as you can see from the background. And I really, truly enjoy writing. And I wrote most of it down here. And ironically enough, Sheila, down here, the 3G, and I haven't got Wi-Fi, I've got one of those dongle things, and is not great down here. But it means that there's no energy in the air. There's no 3G, 4G, 5G, or Wi-Fi. So it means that the only energy that I was picking up on, because I'm quite psychic, was my own energy. So it means I was able to hone into my heart self and hone into any message that wanted to come from inside and bring that out onto the paper. And actually, my best time for writing was between 12 and 4 a.m. So it was amazing how that was. So I would really say, if you have an idea out there, it's an amazing thing to do, is to share your story. And you can start very simply by maybe voicing it out loud using some kind of voice app like Otter or something like that. And then once you've got that, then expand it out using, obviously your own writing. Can use a ghostwriter. I didn't use a ghostwriter. I wrote the whole thing myself and edited the whole thing myself as well. So.
Wow. Now that's amazing, because that's a very nice sized book and you edited it yourself. So let's say someone hears what you're saying and they feel inspired to want to write their story or to become a speaker, what advice would you give to someone with a story that wants to start sharing it and getting it out there?
Well, there's a few ways actually, Sheila. And one of the things you've heard me say before, Clubhouse, because I have an online course at training.dougdgordon.com, and you can go to the online course, and it's all about basically my book expanded into a video course. But you could start by actually thinking, okay, what mess that I can turn into a message, or what skill set have I got that I can add value to people? And then you can literally just put it into some kind of format in terms of modules in a video format out there. And this day and age, you can do it with a phone. I mean, obviously, you know, I'm in my lounge here now. It's quite a nice background. I could literally stick something on here on the phone and do maybe, I don't know, say 15, 10-minute presentations on different topics going away. And if you have a book, obviously you can take each chapter and do it that way, whatever it is. But you could start. I started first, actually. I did the course first. And, you know, you get the course out there, you have it on modules, put it on Kajabi, Teachable, Udemy, one of these type platforms, and just add value and start with a presentation, PowerPoint, thinking about it. What can I put down on here? And then that way, then present it using your phone, or I actually got a videographer. I went to a hotel, and then you have that as the bottom of the funnel way of getting your message out there. And then take the audio of that and get it transcribed, and you've got a booklet either to go with that or potentially a new book as well. So there's another passive income stream of getting your message out as well. Then on top of that, you could do something. You and I know John Lee very well. I've actually spoken on stage with John Lee on real stages. And you know, one of the things you could do is then set up some kind of I don't know, Sheila.com or Doug.com and have a mastermind type group or something where you literally go on and you do maybe an hour or two a week of a presentation adding value to people. And let's say you've got 100 people in that or 1,000 people in that. You just ask them questions. Give me any question that you want me to answer in a presentation style, and I'll do it. And you might get, you might get 10 questions, but then you can take 3 of them, convert them into a presentation for that week, and then send it out and add value to other people as well. And then just rotate the questions every week. And literally you could do, you know, an hour prep and 2 hours of actual speaking, maybe answering a few questions, job done. And then if you have, like me, a radio show or you like a podcast, you can get your guests on to your mastermind group. So you can have a different type of mastermind group for elite people paying a little bit more. And you can bring the guests in and add value to the guests. Add value to the mastermind group by bringing the guests in. And obviously it adds value to me as a speaker, because potentially I'm reaching different people as well. So you have a bottom of range video course, you have a book, you have some kind of group that you speak to every week, and they're paying a small subscription fee of whatever, a $5 or a $10 a month or something like that. And then a much higher charge mastermind group that you bring people in as well. And then all of those, obviously, if you're advertising them consistently online, that'll help you get a bit more, you know, face time in terms of people and get involved. Obviously, Clubhouse is where we met as well, and that gives you an opportunity maybe to speak on there as well. And you never know, you might get invited to speak around the world. And the other thing I would say is, if you want to get out there, obviously, something that we have I'm sure you have it over there as well, is Eventbrite. Have a look at events that are coming up. Have a look at summits that are coming up. Contact the people, offer your services, showcase your services. Once you've proved your services in terms of maybe doing something for, you know, a complimentary speech, in time people will realize your worth, and then they'll pay you as well.
That's amazing. That has added so much value. And for the audience, that I just wanted to let you know that Doug was awarded Global Man of the Year with Global Women's Magazine for his contribution to humanity in 2022. He did over 1,000 hours of mental wellness work and business advice to small businesses for free. That is so outstanding. And he was also awarded over the last 5 years the Global Goodwill Ambassador for doing wellness seminars and giving the money to charity. This is the type of person that we have with us today. That is so amazing to me, because people tend to want to take. in this day and age, and you are giving. It is such a delight to have someone like you helping the women on this platform, and men. I'm sure there's men, but we do cater mainly to women because my goal is to help them propel into purpose, propel into success, and to get to where they're supposed to be in life. So with the Global Women's Magazine, how did that come about?
I was I was doing a lot of work in terms of charity, helping people, and as you said, doing thousands of hours because we were stuck indoors. I had a choice. I could either just sit there or do something good. So I didn't do it for any accolades. I did it because of I love helping people. And I do this mental wellness room every week. And we've been doing it now for 2.5 years. And I'm on a panel with, I think, 3 psychologists, 3 psychiatrists, and then a few mindset coaches. And I'd helped a lot of people, and a few of them were in the Global Woman magazine. And then, interestingly enough, there's a lady that came in who was, she wasn't in the Global Woman, but she was a lady who was in Malaysia or something like that, I can't remember. And she actually was coming in about to take her own life. And she came in to plead just to see if anybody could help. And I managed to turn her around. If you go onto my Instagram and my TikTok actually has 27,000 views of how I turned her around. There's actually another one, and then how I actually changed her mindset as well. But yeah, I turned her around in 7 minutes, and then I kept in touch with her. Then I met with her and gave her 2 hours consultation. And now she's turned her mess into a message, given it meaning, and she's so much happier. And she wrote me a beautiful testimony on LinkedIn. And then a few other women came out. And then I think there was a few women on Global Women's Magazine or in their clubs, the Global Women Club. And they just put my name in and nominated me. So that was why. And then I ended up winning this award, which I'm very grateful for anyone who's listening who actually voted me. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You know, I was voted in that magazine as well. And so when I saw the name, I got excited because I was voted this year for one of the top 100 entrepreneurs to look out for. So when I saw that name in there, I was like, that's not easy to get in there for a man to get nominated. So that was huge. You talk about mindset. A lot of people, they cringe when you say a mindset coach. Can you define how a mindset coach truly helps you to change the trajectory of your life? You just said that in 7 minutes, this woman's whole life was turned around. Can you speak to the skeptics that may think that, oh, this is just foo-foo, that this isn't real, that mindset coaching really will help someone change their life?
Yeah, look, one of the most important things is to realize that when I actually get on the call, 1, I'm quite psychic. 2, I ask the right questions to understand what their psyche is in that moment as well. And then I tailor what I say specifically to the person as well. So it's not, there is a general way you can help people, but it's very much about listening and letting their story come out, and then really pinpointing and almost embedding in what they're saying so that you can understand their psyche and their energy and where they are. And once you know that, you have the awareness of where they are, and knowing the awareness of where you want to take them to, then you can bring them there. But it's very important to make sure that, there's a lot of coaches out there that haven't had the experience in terms of doing this properly. And it's taken a lot of experience, a lot of time to be able to learn it. So anyway, but in terms of this lady, I'll give you an example. I'll give you 2 examples. The first example, I won't give the lady first. I actually have a lady who is a client of mine who was blown up in the Brussels bombing. And she literally got blown up and thrown 12 meters across the floor. And she lost her stomach, and she lost a lot of her side of her left side, and her leg on the left side is now shorter than her right leg and everything like that. And this lady was a super duper athlete on the brink of international swimmer. She did lady bikini muscle building, and she was amazing and all this kind of stuff. And she had that all taken away from her. And when I first met her, she actually came to me for speaker coaching initially because she was going to do a TED talk. I do a lot of speaker coaching on Zoom like this. And she came to me for that. But psychically, I said to her, I said, don't take this the wrong way, but I feel there's an emptiness in you, both physically and mentally. And the physical one was actually the stomach, and I didn't know about that. And then she said, oh my God, how do you know that? And then the other one was, in terms of mentally, she felt that she'd had something taken away from her. She felt that her whole life had been taken away from her. So what I did is I reframed, because I believe that we come down to this planet, this is just my belief, to learn, to grow, to evolve, become better versions of ourselves. And I certainly believe that, I almost believe that we set the intention to learn something in this lifetime. And I believe that we set the intention to grow from it. And I also believe that evolved souls, because I believe in reincarnation, because why would you just come down as you and me? Why would you not come down as the king, the queen, the prince, the pauper, the invalid, the Olympian, to experience life in different ways, in different angles, to understand the whole perspective of life? And based on that premise, I believe that sometimes it's like a PlayStation game, so you're testing yourself, the ultimate, to see if you can still get through all this and come out the other side as the best version of yourself. I also believe that things happen for you. So I said to her, I said, look, and I knew this from my own experience. I said to her, I said, let me guess, you had loads of energy beforehand. And this energy was all physical. And you're bringing that out in your physical pumping of the arm, swimming in the pool. And it was just physical. You had this energy that you didn't know what to do with. And she said, yes. And she says, I still have this energy now inside of me, but I don't know what to do with it. Well, I said, well, maybe, just maybe it's the universe waking you up that the true reason that you got this energy was not to use it for just, egotistically trying to beat someone in a swimming pool or bring big muscles to your arms. Maybe that energy inside of you is for a much bigger use in terms of maybe interconnecting with other people, understanding what their issues are and problems are, and being able to help them in terms of your mess into a message you give it meaning. And I said to her, I said, look at what you've gone through. There's not many people that get blown up in this way. There's not many people that have what you've had taken away from you. Utilize it as a gift to be able to understand in terms of what have you gone through, what have you learned, and how can you utilize the learnings to help other people in some way or form. So it's all about turning that mess into a message and give it meaning. Now, the lady that came on Clubhouse and was going to take her life, she'd been in bed for 3 days. She'd had no food for 2 days and no water or anything for a day. And I said to myself, because like in the back channel, everybody was saying, oh, we got to contact Clubhouse, or we got to contact, it was the Philippines, not Malaysia. We need to contact the Philippine. We didn't know where she lived. We didn't really know if her name was a real name, anything like that. So there was a lot of people in the background, and I just put my hand in my heart and I said, how can I help this lady? And you're going to laugh, but what came to me was make her gargle. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I thought, when I thought about it, I thought, okay, well, actually, if she gargles, she's going to have to drink water, and it might just make her laugh at the same time. So change her state. So I said to her, her name is Yao, actually. You can have a look on my LinkedIn. You can see the LinkedIn recommendation. And I said, Yao, are you prepared to play a game with me? And I will give you a prize worth $1,000 if you play the game. And you're going to win regardless, as long as you play the game with me. And she said, what's the game? I said, I want to make you the Clubhouse champion of gargling. And so she was like, really? What? And I said, look, just go with it. If you do this with me, I will give you something that's worth $1,000. And obviously in the Philippines, $1,000 is probably worth $5,000 if you think about it in terms of value. So I said to her, I said, right, do you have any water? And she said, no, I'll go and get some. So she got some water. And she came back and I said, right, take a gulp just so I could hear it on the mic. And she went, I said, I didn't hear that. And of course, I just wanted to take another drink of water. So suddenly she's rehydrating already. I said, okay, fantastic. Give us your first gargle. She's like, oh. And I said, come on, girl, you can do better than that. Give it louder, And suddenly she starts laughing. And literally, so I've taken her, well, she took her own self, really, from being in that state that she's going to take her life, drinking water, to suddenly laughing. Anyway, after 6 more gargles, lots more laughter, loads of clapping on stage, there's about 50 people in the room, 14 on the stage, suddenly she completely changed her state. And I said, look, the prize is I'm going to give you a session with me. And I'd like your number. I'd like you to send it to me, and I'll keep in touch with you. We'll do a Zoom call. We did that. So that was on a Wednesday night. It was late. And on the Friday, then we did the thing. And then we changed her mindset and did a lot of other things. And boom, she's a completely different person now.
Something as simple as a gargle and drinking a few sips of water is unbelievable. That is marvelous. And I know that the Clubhouse community went crazy over that happening because a life was saved. And that's basically what I'm trying to do here, is to give people hope. And I know that they will have had a lot of instances today to realize through what you were saying that there is hope to be found, no matter what your stage of life is, no matter how bad life happens to you and for you. And I believe that it happens for you, because I wouldn't be here today had I not gone through my stage 3 cancer situation. So I believe that to be wholeheartedly true. And I just wanted to add one last thing that I read about you today. Oh, I do need my glasses. They are old eyes. You were also on the Times Square digital NASDAQ board. How in the Sam Hill, and yes, I said Sam Hill, did that happen?
Well, again, it was another. It was an organization called the International Association of Top Professionals. People like Dr. John Demartini and a few kind of film stars and sports stars are all part of it. It's very much a charity-oriented type of organization. And the chair lady of it, again, was on Clubhouse. And I think she heard me. She heard about me. There's a lot of women. I think there might have been a couple of women who I helped, which I didn't even know of. Again, I got nominated. So with them, I won International CEO of the Year for my coaching business, and then International Healer of the Year for helping a load of people in terms of that stuff. So they then award you a prize, and then they put you on Times Square on the NASDAQ to just kind of give you a bit of a salute as such. So I was very grateful for that. So I actually had to get the lady to do a video of it, because I thought no one would believe me. They just think it was a Photoshop. So she did a video going, "Congrats, Doug," and then you can see the things moving on to the next person and stuff like that. So yeah, it was, look, the accolades are accolades, but it's really about changing lives that matters. And actually, one thing I'd finish on as well is something that I always say. I have an acronym called GLEAM, and I believe what we go through, we grow through to glow through. So gleam your inner light. And my GLEAM acronym starts with G, and that's giving to others, because giving to others is the greatest gift you can give to yourself. And we talk about self-love, and that's so important. Yes, we need to put our own oxygen mask on first. But actually, during the pandemic, when I was helping so many people, at the end of the day, I was able to look at myself in the mirror and go, you know what? You're okay. I love you. So give to others. And also by giving to others, at the same time, you'll learn yourself by the experiences that they're going through, and you better interact and learn as well. So the other thing is gratitude, which we always talk about on Clubhouse. And gratitude is the attitude, because it gets you up into a higher vibe, and your vibe attracts your tribe. But also, I've got children. If I give them a present and they're not grateful, I don't feel like giving them anything else. So why would the universe or even your own subconscious make you feel worthy to receive anything else if you're not grateful for what you have now? L is for learning, and learning that the game of life can be gamified to enjoy life. So when you get these difficult people that come into your life, instead of getting wrapped up in the emotions and the commotions, put yourself on the 10th floor, look back down and ask yourself, what am I learning here? How can I grow from this? And how can I be a better version of myself and maybe help others with the experience I'm having now? So learn all the time for those interactions, and also let go. Too many people hold on to anger, resentment, lack of forgiveness, and guilt, and their problems of the past rather than the fabulous future that you could be having as well. And then E is for energy, and in terms of the spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical energies are all intertwined. And if you work on one, it'll help all the others. And also E is for emotional intelligence, which is awareness, which we talked about earlier on. It's about conscious communication. Your word is your wand. The sentences you say can be the sentences you condemn yourself and others to. So speak for what you want, not what you don't want. Find your inspiration or motivation. Have empathy and compassion for others, and improve your self-regulation, creating win-win with the interactions with the people you have, but also with your own self. A is authenticity. And there's too many people in this world, especially in the coaching world, who fake it till they make it. And I think the most authentic thing you can do is to be you, because people feel that. And when you create that trust, you'll bring in better clients as well. So I know people who have millions of followers. I know one person who's on my radio show has 13.5 million followers or more now on Instagram, and they're all fake. And I've only got 3,000 and something, but they're 3,000 real ones. And I think when people realize that and the authenticity that you can bring out, you attract a different type of tribe. And the people that I'm working with, if you ever look at my LinkedIn, is the CIO of Dell, the head of sales of Dell, the CEO of Okaco, and so on. So the top level people. And you only get that when you're truly authentic and you create true trust between you and the people that you're working with. And then finally, M is for meaning and meditation. And meditation for me is about connecting with your heart self rather than your head self, but also utilizing meditation to visualize what you want in life and increase energy and reduce stress. But also M is for meaning, and the meaning of life for me is not necessarily about just creating money, although I think money is good because you can help more people, because money is an exchange of energy. But also the real meaning for life for me is touching hearts. And that can come down to doing three things, such as giving lots of kisses, holding lots of hugs, and giving out lots of kind words. So I guarantee if you go out there and give as many kisses, as many hugs, as many kind words, you're going to live a life of love with lots of vibrant energy.
You summed it up perfectly, and you are amazing. Thank you, Doug Gordon, for this fantastic time today. I am again honored to have you on, and I know that the people are going to be astounded with what they're hearing today. And this will be go into the archives, and we will have it forever, and I will replay it over and over again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheila.
My goodness, Doug. Doug Gordon. All I have to say is DougDGordon.com. Go to the website, read the book, get it for gifts. But this man is an honor and a jewel to have on our platform. So thank you, Doug. Thank you, family, for listening. And I look forward to seeing you in the next session. Have a great day. See you soon.
Thanks for joining us on Lifestyle Mastery with Dr. Sheila Smith. We hope that the insights, tips, and tools shared in this episode have inspired and empowered you to take control of your personal and professional life. Remember, personal development and entrepreneurship are a journey, and we're here to support you every step of the way. Keep applying the strategies and techniques you've learned, and never stop striving for your dreams. We'd love to hear from you. Please share your feedback and success stories on our website or social media platforms. And don't forget to subscribe to Lifestyle Mastery for even more expert insights and inspiration. Thanks again for being a part of our community. We look forward to continuing this journey of growth and success with you. And we'll see you again on our next episode.